Howdy YouTube, welcome to another episode of the Gunman Raw. Nice warm day today, kind of reminds me of Perth actually, loving it, in good spirits always when the weather is warm. Anyway, so I was rudely interrupted by my fellow worker in my previous video, but to be fair, this is probably coming to an end anyway, yeah, 10 or so minutes, so if you did watch that, I apologize for the abrupt ending to it. I was probably just rambling on about some bullshit that was not important, and I'm gonna do the same thing in this video. So, you know, click away now if you don't want to listen to unimportant dribble from the Gunman. One thing I was thinking about though is that, like, my work ethic has got me where I am. I'm not a multi-millionaire, but I'm above average and I'm doing pretty well in life. So I just wanted to share my work ethic, right? So I've sort of had this philosophy. It was actually helped by my grandpa. My grandpa, but I was gonna say my uncle. And shout out to Gary Kerrigan. He's no longer with us, but I just want to say, mate, we still think about you. Yeah, and it's good to be a positive impact on people's lives. Definitely wasn't a perfect person. He had his own struggles, but the good was good. So where were we? He helped actually change my worldview. I was brought up in a left-wing family, you know, the big evil corporations. That's what it was more about in the 90s. It wasn't all this you know, identity politics, which it's devolved into. Yes, devolved. We're going backwards pretty fast with current thing. But yeah, so what my uncle, so when I turned 17, I moved down here to Melbourne, and my uncle had a apprenticeship going, and it was not with him, but he sort of helped me get the job. It was through one of his friends. But so he's a spray painter panel beater. He was a panel beater by trade, but definitely knew all the spray painting as well. And what I was going to say is he helped me sort of see, without you, he said, you might not care about that business, but without that business you don't have a job. And it really did change my outlook on and the way I thought about businesses, because yeah, like growing up in a left-wing family, you just taught the big evil capitalists, you know. They don't care about the workers, they exploit the workers. And then my uncle did make me just like, yeah, you know what, you got a point. Like, even my boss, current boss here, is a good example. He's got 200 workers, 200 employees, right? I'm not jealous of him for 1 second. I'm actually grateful. I'm grateful that there are people like my boss, and look, he deserves, as far as I'm concerned, all the money that he gets, you know. And it takes a certain kind of attitude and a certain type of person to do what he does, my boss, and I don't want to be that kind of guy. And another thing I was saying to one of my workmates just actually earlier today, if you don't give everything to your business, it's not going to be, well, I mean, you're not going to get the best out of it, basically. I mean, yeah, you can give a half-assed job, but you're not going to be my boss. You're not going to have 200 employees, and I don't know how much he's worth, but he's doing all right for himself, either way. Yeah, so you should not be jealous of that. I don't think that gets you anywhere. Like, it doesn't. Like, resentment and jealousy of rich people, it doesn't get you anywhere. Like, yes, if they're exploiting people, like, hold them accountable, yes. But, you know, someone giving you a job that you don't have to be at is not exploitation. He's nearly providing you the service, you know? That's the way I look at it anyway. So, yeah, another thing is, yeah, don't hold a grudge towards your boss, right? He's in it to make money, right? Now, yeah, if you're worth good money, he will pay you. Another thing is, you'll soon find out what you're worth when you go to leave. So another thing that my grandpa actually said, he goes, my expertise are available to the highest bidder. And he kept saying that. He always said that, and that sort of stuck with me. So I've been criticized by a lot of people for moving around. You know, oh, why is he moving jobs again? It's like, whatever, mate. I've got nothing wrong. Like, to me, I'm like, why would you stay still? Why would you stay at the same place for 20 years? You're miserable, you hate the place. Why would you stay there, you know? So, yeah, I turn that back onto them. I don't want to be that guy who's miserable. I don't want to be that guy in a shop that I don't like, in a toxic environment with people that hate me, you know? I refuse to. And on the other hand, I put myself in a position where I don't need to. Yeah. So I think that was that thought. What else? What else is going to add to that? I think that just about rounded that one out. But yeah, another thing is, like, a lot of people sort of, yeah, I don't know. It's really sad to see, but, you know, because I'm 40 years old, like back in the 90s and even early 2000s, and I think this is an internet thing, right? Part of it's an internet thing, I believe. The division in society, and like people have got a much more negative view towards the future. Like, yeah, in the 90s and even early 2000s, people were like really looking forward to the new technology, and it was a really like exciting time to be alive. Whereas now people, yeah, they seem to have a much more negative outlook towards the future. And one thing that I was only thinking about recently is I think it's partly to do, like, I think it's partly economical or financial. Like, do you really believe, if you're Australian, you'll get what I mean, do you believe that your children are going to have, you know, more earning capacity than you do? I don't think that that's coming. And I don't think that it had to be that way. I think it's an elite sort of political class doing things that are in their best interest, not everyone's best interest, not the best interest of the people that, you know, they're supposedly representing. I'm just ranting. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. I guess I have a lot of time to think about shit when I'm spray painting. I don't usually actually say it, so when I actually try to say it, I'm kind of all over the joint. Ex-drug addict, so you know, a few brain cells are being killed. Ex-drug addict, current spray painter, so, you know, a few brain cells have been killed over the years. But I'm still alive. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't that bad on the drugs. Like, it's a bit of weed and a bit of the other stuff maybe on the odd occasion, but yeah, nothing that bad, nothing that heavy, I guess. I guess that depends on your perspective on drugs. But yeah, it's crazy nowadays. Like, weed is like pretty all but legal here in Victoria anyway. Like, you're allowed to you can get a prescription for it, and it's definitely, even my entire life, it's never really been heavily policed. Like, I think technically it's still criminal. I don't know, like I would have to double check, but you, like, they'll know. Like, if a policeman finds you, I think you're not allowed to drive under the influence, right? But if you just had some in your car, like a couple of grams or even, you know, an ounce or something, they may sort of confiscate it, but slap on the wrist on your way. I don't think you're going to get a criminal record for it, for holding a personal use amount. But yeah, if you go to the point where you're dealing, you may. And again, I think it depends on scale. You know, if you're just selling a little bit to your friends, I don't think they're going to go that far. And I think that's probably for the best, you know. Obviously, some people may disagree with that, but yeah. Anyway, this is a spray painting channel. What am I doing ranting about all this kind of shit for? Going to get political again. I do listen to a lot of politics when I'm working though, so it's on my mind. Yeah, I stopped drinking for about 6 years straight. I didn't touch a drop. And then it was only a few years ago that I had one beer, and I'm like, man, I enjoy that. So I've gradually been, just having a beer every now and then, but I find that I actually enjoy it more than I used to, because, yeah, like I do always cut it off at 1. Actually, I did make myself up a new rule when last Christmas time. It resets after 3 hours, so yeah, if I've been at a, so if I get to a place, I have a beer, and then 3 hours later I can have another one. I guess that keeps you under the limit. You can still be social, and yeah, you can still enjoy a couple of beers, but without the hangover or the negative, you know, effects of drinking to excess. Yeah, it's also, I probably did it at a good time as well, because you definitely don't bounce back like you used to. Yeah, in your 30s, and especially, I don't know, I've never been drunk in my 40s, but I'm sure, you know, the hangovers get worse. And I don't know about these people, is how I don't get hangovers. Like, man, I don't know about that. Well, if you don't get hangovers, there's only one reason: you must not drink enough. Because, yeah, hangovers are a thing. I guess they, like some people say, they go even for alcohol. So if every beer they have, they'll have a water or something. I've heard that can help. But yeah, I've never done that. When I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking beer. Back in the day, anyway. But yeah, masking, it's fun. Hopefully you enjoy watching me mask and talk shit. Otherwise, I guess you're probably not even watching anymore. So yeah, there you go. That's the beauty of, you know, free will, I guess. Oh, this is the last door anyway, and then I'll probably just give it a prep sol, and then I'm gonna leave this job for my painter in crime to paint in the morning. Oh well, it's actually gonna be a couple of days away. Yeah, Shi Jun, so he's gonna be back. So today's the Monday, but we've got tomorrow off. That's why I say a couple of days. I'm gonna get him to paint it. So he painted a Peugeot 208 that we did the other day, a 3-stage pearl, and did a really good job. I'm yet to get him to do a full one of these candy jobs. Currently he does bonnet, boot lid, bumpers, but I do come in and do the candy stage. So I'll let him do the wet on wet, the color, then I'll come in, do the 2 coats of candy, because it's very application sensitive. He did bug me, right? He's really keen, so that's like, you've got to give him like points for being keen. I find it hard to say no to like somebody who wants to learn, right? If somebody wants to learn out of the paint, and I believe they're up to it, right? So yeah, if you can, the way I've seen it, if you can, you could have been here for a week, right? It doesn't matter. It's not about how long you've been here for. If you know, I get an apprentice, and you can come in, if you can prep, if you can mask, if you can do the filler work, if you can do the chips, if you're doing everything else, why won't I let you do the next step? And I'm not saying you have to get the painting right every time, no, but you're doing everything else and you're keen to do it. Like, how could I stand in the way of you? You know what I mean? I believe, I know I must think differently than other people, but some painters, they must be quite insecure. They don't like sharing their knowledge, and they don't like helping other people or teaching other people what they know. So yeah, so I can't even remember what I was about to say, but yeah, look, I get a big kick out of watching this guy learn, and like I say, he's got the right attitude. He wants to learn, and look, it makes my job easier. You know, look, at the end of the day, the boss doesn't care. This is the way I say it, and I said it to the boss, and he totally agrees. I'm like, man, wouldn't the boss like 2 good employees? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that because you're like, let's just say this is you're the #1 dog, right? And then there's another person here. Let's just say that you bring them up right up to level just as good as you, right? Do you think the boss is then going to turn around and say, oh, screw you, I don't need you anymore? Well, if you're that insecure in your own capabilities, like the boss knows what's got, like, they're not stupid, man. Like, they're the boss for a reason, right? If it, I don't know, like, just the way that some people must think, they must be insecure in their skills. And the way I say it, like, if the boss does turn around and say, hey, we don't need you anymore, I'll say, well, screw you then, mate. I just trained this guy how to do everything, and you're gonna get rid of me? Oh, goodbye. Like, that's the I guess the level of loyalty that I have towards a boss. Yes, there is loyalty, but outside of that 8 hours, mate, if, like, I don't have to take shit from anybody. I put myself in a position where, this is what my grandpa used to say, I don't take shit from man, woman, or child. So I like that saying, and I'm the same. my the shit that I say to some of my bosses over the years, but they cop it because they know I'm a good worker. Yeah, that's just put yourself in that position. I don't know, like not everybody is ever gonna be as good as me, I guess, you know, so that they have to look at things differently. Yeah. Gotta love yourself a good Gunman rant. Straighten this up, give the car a prep sole. I've got to put some foam inside those door handles too. I've got to go find that petrol flap. I always like to paint the petrol flap particularly at the same time. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say before. I actually did let him paint the candy. So he bugged me and bugged me and bugged me. I did actually let him paint the candy one time. So I'm just turning this on just to get the fumes out of my face when I'm prep soling. Yeah, so he did bug me and bug me. So, because he's been doing the bumpers for quite some time, and he's like, oh, I want to do the candy, me do candy, me do candy. Because he's Chinese, like, I'm just saying that's how he talks, right? I'm not taking the piss. And I let him do it, and the bumpers were a totally different color. So he saw that, and he's like, man, I didn't realize that it was so difficult. And I'm like, yeah, well, I did try to tell you, but sometimes you've just got to let people learn the hard way, you know? And with that, it's like, mate, he knows, like now he knows, and he doesn't even ask me to do the candy anymore. So that's kind of cool. And you know, once we sort of get rid of these Mazdas, they won't be that common anymore. So we might be able to sort of ease him into that gradually later on, if you know, if that does come up. Anyway, what are we doing now? That's right. Got this foam tape there. But yeah, isn't it a wonderful place to work? Like, look at this, mate. Everything. You know, the boss called me up the other day and he's like, man, I need you to buy some more paints. I'm like, what? Most places, I think he's got a deal with PPG, whereas if he buys like X amount, then he gets a discount. So yeah, I've been taking a bit of time off, personal reasons, but yeah, he called me up and he's like, just buy some more PPG paint, man. Like, just load it up and yeah, we'll keep it in stock. That was funny. So yeah, like all the products I want or need, I got basically. Within reason, because yeah, like you will find that certain you know, paint suppliers do have certain products. But in saying that, like, I like most of the stuff that we use anyway. And like that does come back to what I was saying earlier, is that like, I have to adapt to this shop within reason, you know. So we had this detailer who was going to start, didn't end up starting for whatever reason, but one thing I did hammer home to him, I learned, was you have to adapt to us. We don't. I learned that from one of these detailers that I had. He was constantly, oh, well, where I used to work, and it's like, mate, it doesn't matter what you used to do, where you used to work. It matters what we want. We need a certain quality, we need a certain standard done, and everything else is just talk. Just do it our way, and yeah, that's the point I'm at with it. Like, there's, to get a certain result within, like, yeah, within reason. Like, I'd love to say, oh yeah, no, do it however you want, but if however you want isn't working, that's when I step in. You know, I'll give you a shot, do it your way, but if your way is not working, I will step in and I will tell you it must be done that way. And if you don't do it that way, well then that's when we're going to have a problem. Yeah. I guess I'm in a bit of a talkative mood. My mind's sort of racing all over the place. I can't even remember. I was talking about something else before. Oh yeah, like the products that we use. And yeah. We're using like a lot of Merca, so I think PPG Australia actually, they import the Merca stuff. So again, it's just a little deal that my boss has got going on. But in saying that, like Merca products, they're quality, man. They're right up there. Like, they're just as good as 3M. They're sandpapers, man. And I am somewhat of a sandpaper elitist. So yeah, believe me, if I didn't like it, I would tell you. Yeah, the 3M Cubitron is generally my favorite, and the Merca Galaxy, I think it's a relatively new line of sandpaper, so it's not the Iridium. The Iridium is actually quite good as well, but yeah, I think it's a relatively new one, because for a while we didn't even have any stock at all, but it did come in, and yeah, man, that Merca Galaxy, It's good, and it's I think it's even cheaper than the 3M, so potentially that's just a deal that my boss gets. But I looked at some invoices and I'm like, man, that's affordable. Yeah, because I have found just it's a false economy with cheap sandpapers. It really is. Like, so with the Mirka, we'll do like one bit of 320 will do 4 doors, maybe 2 to 4 doors, depending on how, you know, because this one here, there were so many chips down there, so I did just sort of sand it flat. So, you know, it might burn through an extra one, but generally 2 panels you get out of 1 bit of 320. You go and use the start line stuff, you'll be using 3 per panel. It's a false economy. You're not saving anything. Anyway, let's get that prep sol. So yeah, I like to use these microfiber cloths. We've actually moved away from these ones.